into the lens.
Future of journalism. What is your take on that?
Future of journalism is about networking. It's about networking within journalistic organisations, between one journalistic organisation and another, and then, of course, crucially, networking with the audience, so that you can be listening to their concerns, you can be receiving news from them, and having a two-way dialogue with them in order to improve your journalism.
So, when recruiting for the BBC, how are you looking out for new journalists? What is their talents? What is it they need to know?
Well, the fundamental journalistic skills in terms of reporting accuracy, in terms of ability to be able to get on with people, curiosity about the world, high ethical standards, all those things stay exactly the same. But people's openness, their willingness to have dialogue, their willingness to listen to others, to work effectively with colleagues and to listen to audiences, that's changing, and those attitudes are things that we're increasingly looking for.
How do you deal with in-house people who've been in the organisation for 10, 15, 20 years? Can they accommodate this?
A lot of them can. It's very exciting. That development and change in journalism is something which is inspiring for many people. But for those who aren't comfortable with it, we're very honest about the way that the world is changing, and we ask people to think, is this something that you're going to be happy with? There's no point working in an organisation where you're unhappy or unmotivated, and so by being clear to people about the changes that are happening, we hope that people who stay with us are the ones who are really enthusiastic about this world, and those who aren't, they've got skills, I'm sure they'll find interesting things to do in other walks of life.
There was one mention you made some years ago about radical impartiality versus objectivity. Is this objectivity approach changing?
I don't see radical impartiality and objectivity as being in contradiction with each other. Radical impartiality, for me, is about the range of views that the BBC has on its airwaves and on its websites. Our objectivity and impartiality is about our journalism, it's about our reporting, and the standards of that and the ability to be able to have a truthful and accurate and impartial account. That's as relevant now as it's always been in the BBC's history.
I mean, you're being funded by a public service fee. This is a lucky position to be in, which you also mentioned. What is your advice for non-publicly funded news organizations? How can they make a living?
Well, every news organisation, however it's funded, has got to engage with audiences, and engagement in the commercial world can equal revenue. It may be less revenue, it may be different kinds of revenues than it was in the past, but we're all in the same game in terms of engaging with audiences. The difference for public service is that we're driven first by the values of the organisation and the journalism that we create, as opposed to the commercial bottom line. But we're all experimenting with and trying to understand what engages audiences.
So you're saying there is hope for journalism?
Of course there's hope for journalism, because journalism is about telling stories, it's about informing people about the world, and every human being has a curiosity to understand about the world. I'm convinced that journalism will survive and prosper. It'll be stronger in many ways. It will, however, be hugely different whether it's publicly funded or commercially funded.